So Aburu, Aboye, Aboshishe, Ekuoshe, Egungun, Obatala Iyami, and Obaluae. It is Milatona Ifabileke, OJ Bimi, Prince of Oshogbo, Oluwo of Iliading Bay, Iyadudu Temple, Charlotte, North Carolina. Check us out at 2028 Woodland Drive. Shop with us on Etsy at Iyadudu Botanica. Come join our community on Patreon at Iyadudu World Academy. It's Latona Ifabileke on any social media platform. Again, Eku Oshe Egungun Obatala. So let's start right by chanting the verse, right? So we can chant it in Yoruba or English, but we're gonna do English today. So the Odu is Atefun is Ireti on the right and Ofun on the left. Gently Ifa, the owner of the mysterious drum. Gently Ifa, the player of the deep sounding drum. If the drum sounds, the slaves in the house must never dance to the tune. If the drum does not sound, those in servitude must not dance to the tune. Ifa's message to Elaro Sofin, he who wakes himself up and surrounds himself with money. He was advised to offer a bow, he complied. Gently Arisha Oko, Ajala, the head of the group of travelers. So it's right. First, it's important that we look at what Ifa is talking about, right? Ifa gives us in the first two lines, it gives us kind of direction, right? So we already understand about the drum, right? Some of us can't dance, some of us can't carry a tune, some of us can't play the drum, right? But if we kind of contemplate or think about the process in which the drum sounds, right? The construction of the drum, right? The playing of the drum, the learning of the song, right? So we know in Yoruba culture there are certain types of drums, right? There's a talking drum, there's the bata drum, there's bells, right? All these things are considered to be drums. There's various ones. So it's saying that Ifa is the owner of the mysterious drum. Ifa is the owner of the deep sounding drum, one's destiny. Ifa is the owner of the drum of one's destiny. Ifa is the owner of the deep sounding drum. Those things that you feel personally, those things that's close to you. How does one get to play the drum, right? How do we learn the songs? How do we learn the movements, right? It requires discipline. It requires focus, right? It requires learning. So, what is it that Ifa is telling us about, right? When it talks about a drum, it's talking about destiny. It's talking about our destiny and how we play it. What things will we do? What things will we say? What things will we recognize about our destiny? What will we do? It's saying that there's a plan for our lives, right? There's a song played, there's communication, there's all these things that is associated with a drum that we can apply to our lives. Destiny. So, will the drum be deep? Will the drum be recognizable? Will the song be recognizable? Will we be able to dance to the tune? We'll be able to follow it, right? I can't really dance that good. I can play the drum even less. But we understand that the drum conveys a message. The drum conveys a sentiment. The drum is recognizable by everyone around. What song will we play? Ifa says, right? The ancestors say, Obatala says that we will not only play the drum, but we will be successful at it. So being successful at the things in life, being successful in one's path and one's destiny, being successful in teaching, being successful as a mother, being successful as a father, being successful as a leader. We need the direction and focus, right? We need the discipline. We need the discipline. We need to focus. We need to learn how to play the tune. So, how do we learn our destiny? How the same way we learn about the drum, right? Some people are naturals; they can just pick it up. Not everybody's a natural. For those who aren't naturals, we have to be taught. We have to be guided. We have to play along with the band, right? We have to play along with the quartet. We have to play along with others. Focus, discipline. Obatala says when we do this with focus, right, that we will enjoy victory over adversary. With continued patience, we will have ire pupo, plenty of blessings, right? So let your life, let your destiny be enjoyable to others. Let others follow that beat in a sense. This Ifa tells us that in a sense, we leaders, Usa, right, the presence of a Batala shows us about leadership. It shows us about cool headedness. It shows us about discipline. It shows us about elevation. This is the way to wealth. Playing your own drum, right? No, I'm not in Africa. My backdrop says I'm in Africa, but I'm not in Africa, no. The ancestors continue, right, and ask us to have peace of mind. Peace of mind. Everybody say peace of mind. Alafia. Peace of mind. We must start from a position of peace to attract wealth, abundance, success, elevation. Ask us to be patient in those decisions that we make that could not only affect us but affect others. May we make informed decisions. May we make balanced decisions. It is success and abundance that we after. You know, it gets challenging sometimes, right? Knowing how to recognize certain things about ourselves, recognize certain things about others. How we gonna play it? How we gonna move forward? Do we follow someone else's drum? Do we follow someone else's plan? Do we move this way? Do we move that way? You know, how is it that we're gonna move? How is it that we're gonna progress? It's difficult to say without your destiny. It's difficult to say, right, without the leader. Ifa gives us the way to follow that. It shows us through our own Odu. It shows us through the Odu Ifas that we cast. It shows us through the reading which way to go. Right? We have an inclination. We kind of like guide it. Right? We can be offbeat. We can be out of tune. Right? What is the thing that brings us back into alignment? Ifa, our destiny. It's a lot, right? It's a lot to understand and take in sometimes, but it is following the path. How do we get on the path? E5 rating, initiate to E5, like be able to slow our lives down, be able to perpetuate our destiny, be able to utilize it, to ask questions, to align with the course, align with our course, align with our future. How do we get to one place for another? How do we get to the end of the song? Right, following the directions we given. Ifa will guide us. Your destiny. So, like, A lot of times we speak about Ifa as if it is something outside of us. It's not. It's in us, but we don't have a way to express it. We don't have a way to say it. We don't have anything concrete to go on because we have inclination. We got inclination. Sometimes we can misguide ourselves. Sometimes we can make the wrong decision, right? Sometimes we are less aware than others. What is the thing that writes us on our courses? It's Ifa. It's Ifa. It's your destiny. Ifa is the religion where you worship yourself, where you worship your plan. I was asked Monday about worshiping God and worshiping Olodumare. There was some question about Olodumare being God. Olodumare is not God, it's Akamara. But there's a valve or a barrier between us and God, right? That's the Irumale. Then it's the Orisha. So Orisha being all those things in the physical world that we can touch, right? That we can touch, right? That's Orisha. The things that we feel, right, that guide us that we can't touch, that's Irumale. So your car wouldn't be Irumale, it would be Orisha. But the moon would be Irumale, not Orisha. So we can see right in this structure of Ifa how even there are things placed above even Olodumare. There were things that came into existence before Olodumare. Even Aye, the earth came into being before Olodumare. But again, right, the eyes that we have are on the front of our face, not the top. So we're not supposed to look up, we're supposed to look out. We're supposed to see the other manifestations of Akamara, Olodumare, the Orisha and the Rumale in front of us. How we interact with those, what course that we're on, what place we go, how we deal with one another is how we really worship God. So may we continue to do that in the best way possible. May we continue to align with our highest best destiny. May we follow this information throughout the week, right? And making ourselves available, not holding ourselves back, learning the things we need to learn, being real with ourselves, listening, paying attention, being aware. May we do that over the next 4 days. Bring us peace. May it bring us longevity. May it bring us all era in life. You know, having one's head in the right place is important. Ebori, right? Feeding your head, asking your head what it needs in order to support you to keep you on the path. Where you need to go, what you need to do, who you need to be with. All these things are important.